with a bottle.
We are live.
We are live. We are live. This is pretty exciting. I used to do a heap of Boilermakers, but it's been a while. It's been about 5 years. I think we kind of worked out Andrew. So Andrew from Batch is on today, and Simon from Adam Brands. We're going through Darkness, and pretty excited to get to the third one. Pretty excited for all four of them, actually. But a little bit of a beer and whiskey lineup. So I'm Ray from Barrel and Batch. We've got another Barrel and Batch contender right here, Erin, who is boss woman marketing. There you go. And Dane, what do you do exactly?
I do national key accounts for local drinks collective, so for Batch and Wayward.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
but I'm based up on the sunny coast in Queensland.
So you're sweltering hot too.
Yes. Aircon pumping.
And the fan.
Yeah.
Awesome. So if everyone's listening with their packs at home, and obviously on the stream, what we're going to do is we're going to kick off with the Manic More, which Simon can take us through that one, and then we're going to move into chatting about the beers with Andrew. The first one will be the peanut butter. That's all I remember in the title. It was a long title, and that was the key point for me. Peanut butter will be with the Kregeliki. The Elsie will be with the Ben Rinnes 17-year, and then the last one will be the 20-year-old Highland peated with the. I figured we should do this one last. What is it? A wee? I feel like it's a wee beastie, but that's not. Is that what's called?
McBatch. We have
McBatch. So, all right, Simon, take it away, mate, with the Manic More. Thanks very much.
Excellent. Yeah. So, crack open your first bottle if you have it there. Get it into a glass. So first of all, a little bit about Darkness. If you've not encountered Darkness before, Darkness is whiskey that has been finished in a sherry octave. So these are small little sherry casks that especially hand coopered for us in Jerez in Spain. They're just 64 litres in size. You get quite intense maturation from them. The Manic More, which we're trying first, I imagine a few of you haven't encountered Manic More before. That is no shade on you if you haven't. It's a whiskey that's pretty much only seen in independent bottlers. There is a Flora and Fauna release you can get in the UK, and occasionally Diageo, the owners, will release it in the special releases as well. It's been around since the 70s, this distillery. It's built on the same site as Glenlossie Distillery, just south of Elgin, and mostly goes into blended Scotch whiskey, in particular Dimple and Hague blended Scotch whiskies. The character of Manic More is actually quite light and floral, but you start to get some fruit weight as the spirit matures. But let's give this a go. This has been finished in a Palo Cortado octave, bottled at 56.6%, and it spent 4 months in this little 64-litre cask to finish it. So the colour is actually, for a Darkness, is actually one of the lighter Darkness releases that we have released. So that's why we're going to start with this as an aperitif whiskey to some of the intensely sherry whiskeys we have coming up. Palo Cortado, very quickly. Let's take a sip of the whiskey, then I'll talk quickly about Palo Cortado.
Yeah, one thing I love about Darkness too, well, I love a lot of things about Darkness, as everybody knows. Super sweet, white sugar there for me. But what I love is, what do you say, 57.1? Did I get it right on all the things?
55.6 for this one.
5.6. None of them drink hot like that. Like, I mean, if you drink whiskey all the time, Darkness is always super palatable.
So, I mean, the whole reason why we call it Darkness is that process of maturation in these octave casks darkens the whiskey. So this whiskey, when we got it, would have been water white when we bought it from Diageo. So it spent most of its life in a knackered refill cask, and we've breathed some life into it, made it a little bit more intense with this Palo Cortado cask. This one is like quite bright, citrusy, quite fresh. I do like that powdered sugar character that you get. I definitely get a bit of that. Think like maybe like an almond croissant. There's a little bit of pepperiness and savoriness as well on the finish. Really interesting dram. Palo Cortado is an unusual sherry. We've done some great Palo Cortados in the past. We've had some Lachig Palo Cortado. We did a Del Ewan Palo Cortado recently as well, and that was in the Advent. If you got to taste that, I believe that was one of the drams. There you go. Bottle of it there. The Palo Cortado is an unusual sherry. It starts its life out as if it's going to be a Fino sherry or an Amontillado sherry. It's actually quite a bright, fresh sherry. But for some reason or another, they don't necessarily know why, the layer of yeast that grows on top of the wine dies off, and then the wine starts to age oxidatively. It sounds very technical. Palo Cortado actually means broken stick. So when they just have a line on the barrel, they draw a line across the barrel to show this is a Fino or Amontillado. And then if they think it's going to turn into a Palo Cortado, they put a cross through that line to signify on that barrel that this is likely going to turn into a Palo Cortado. Only about 1 to 2% of all sherry ends up, of all sherry grapes pressed, will actually end up as Palo Cortado. So more of a rare sherry style, but delicious whiskey, bright, fresh, some spice and pepper and savory notes in there as well, and that powdered sugar that Ray mentioned. What do we think?
Yeah, delish.
Talk up. Tell me what you reckon.
Sorry, gents, it's a Palo Cortado first.
It is, yes.
It's indeed. Manic Malt Palo Cortado.
Got it.
For me, I'm noticing the sweetness, which is something that I don't associate with whiskey very much. This is carrying me through. It's a beautiful way to start. Very palatable, very easy drinking.
Easy drinking at 55%, you boozer.
Yeah.
It's fairly. I find it fairly sticky, but I'm getting a fair bit of like coffee and dark chocolate as well come through with like a bit of the nuttiness, which I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit different. It is my first whiskey in at least 3 hours. So
True to form.
No, look, I mean, I definitely start to get some burnt caramel notes coming through, and that citrus turns like a slightly bitter citrus as well. So some of those dark chocolate characters, for sure. You're spot on.
Yeah, yummy. Like you said, very well put. A good starting dram. I'm not upset with that at all.
There were only, just a quick note, there was only 257 bottles of this Manic Malt made, so it was a marriage of just 2 octaves as well. And Ray, how many did we bring into the country? A few cases?
Yeah, not a great deal. That's the other problem with darkness. Simon goes, "Oh, here's what you can have," and you can only have a little bit of bottles because we don't have enough. Because it's global.
This was quite a popular release with our customers. 257 bottles doesn't go a long way when you're distributing that globally. So everyone wanted a few cases because of that Palo Cortado being a relatively novel cask finish.
Yeah, super popular at the moment. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to do the first next thing. We're going to move on to the first Boilermaker. Corey's loving beer. He's about to get right into it. So I would like to introduce Andrew from Batch Brewery. We're going to have that peanut butter number and
So it's straight to the fridge.
Yeah.
I've got an assistant.
This is right there.
the best way I hear this pronounced is Cragalacky, and I quite like that.
Cragalacky.
Yeah, it's if you ever want to remember the name, it's Craig gave Ella the key. So Craig Ella key.
Sorry, I'm just going to say crack-a-lackin' from now on.
yeah, crack-a-lackin'. I heard crack-a-lackin'. That's absolutely right.
Hey John, did you shake your beer? You got to shake.
I didn't read the instructions.
Fool me one.
For you, I did. So we were on one of these batch ups. So I just want to tell the story. Hilarious. It was about 2 minutes before we went live, and he had one of those roll this, that, the other. Make sure. I'm like, nah, mate, you've got to give that thing a shake. It's going to come out a heap better. So he did. And he opened it, and it exploded. Everybody's going, help!
Absolutely everywhere. Covered in just sticky beer for the entirety of the stream. I didn't have time to go and pop it up.
Yep.
And that's not on Ray. That's on you, pal. That is.
So, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us for this. And was a pretty short notice and quick move, like it always is with me. But I really appreciate it, and it's awesome because this is the first one where we're going to start with Boilermakers. So, Corey, there's many more beers to come just for you, mate. But
Cheers, guys.
cheers, everybody, and Andrew, please tell us about Batch.
Cheers.
Yeah, so I like an idiot. Before I knew about this, I drank all the rest of this beer that was in my fridge. So I might run downstairs quickly to see if I actually have some. Like I'm hoping there's one in the back, but I remember it well. But give me 2 seconds because I just tasted this and I think it's a really great pairing. So I'm really hoping I do have some. Give me 2 seconds and I'll tell you about Batch. Just two seconds.
Too easy. Yep.
As the marketing and branding person on the call, I just want to give props to. I always love craft beers so much for how beautifully and intricately they're designed. When we opened up the package, honestly, it was like Christmas morning. Like the variance in how the guys have made the cans, and I think this one does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm absolute peanut butter like crazy.
Well, a little while ago, we went through the rebrand for Batch, and I used to really like the old branding, and I had my doubts with the initial kind of new man that we had, the Batch kind of, OG man that we had.
Yep.
But now, seeing all the new branding on the cans together, I really like it, especially the core range ones. But yeah, they're all pretty fun.
Yeah, and also, they are a lot more fun, I've got to say. Even though I did like the as you said, the man. I like the man that used to be on there as well. That was a really cool branding as well. And the little wooden deck you guys did, everything was just wood.
Yeah.
It looks great. It's just and chopped peanut butter. I think Travis put up something about like that nutty and savoury favour. So I really enjoyed this pairing already. But one thing I always call out on beer pairings and whiskey pairings is there's an order. There has to be. There's an order. No, but it's up to you. When you try the beer first and the whiskey second, you're going to get different flavors. And you're going to try the whiskey first and the beer second, and you'll find every pairing we do, there's a better order that you'll find for your palate that works better.
Correct.
So I'm always interested to find out what anyone's.
Well, I dove straight into the beer already, so.
But you start with the whiskey, then go to the beer,
I thought we were doing a depth charge. I just dropped my health down.
And that's John Jarvis. Welcome.
I noticed that, John. Straight into it.
Nobody's surprised, pal. Nobody's surprised.
Sorry, which whiskey we're doing with this one?
So with the Krigalicky 11-year-old Pedro Jimenez cask.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Crackalacken.
Nice.
The Crackalacken. The Crackalacken.
Crackalacken.
So unfortunately, I drank the last bit of my half-baked, but it was a Friday night, and it was just calling me, and I just
too good.
But from the memory of that, these would pair really nicely. That beer is a just something we just decided to do randomly. We've done versions of white stouts before, but really, like, it's just what makes it a stout. Really, is just the fact that we've had like chocolate and like kind of those kind of Moorish notes, like with the peanut butter and pretzels and stuff like that, but fool your eyes effectively because you're kind of drinking. It doesn't taste exactly like a stout, but when you're drinking it, it tastes like something a lot darker than you normally would be drinking or you think you would be drinking. But there's quite a lot of like nice little sweet and salty characters to it, and I think that that matches this quite nicely. Obviously, I'm going off of memory on that, but I'm jealous of you guys because you're actually drinking both right now.
Well, I did check if you needed beers, and I was told no, so I do apologize.
Well, no, because we gave them to you, and I was like, oh, we literally just ran out of McBatch as well, and I gave them. I was like, oh, there'll still be some there. I'll if I need to, I'll grab them. And of course, they sold out. Like,
perfect.
As soon as they're saying, oh, this will be fine, then y'all go.
So if anyone likes this, too bad.
You can't have it.
McBatch will probably do again. I'm trying to kind of bring back some of the beers that we've done kind of throughout the past 11 years that we've been brewing beer, and like some have kind of gone by the wayside during different iterations of the business and stuff like that. So things like McBatch and Tank 6 imperial stout, stuff like that. We're trying to bring back. It might not be every year, but we're bringing stuff like that back, and then some will go into rotations every couple of years. But like just do some stuff that we really enjoyed doing and bringing it back a little bit more.
Well, our second beer that we're going to move on to, we won't yet because I know you've got to run and tackle children. But the second one we're going to move on to after we get through this is Elsie the Milk Stout. And we're saying
that you can get.
Well, that, but also big fan of, I believe it was called Elsie's Other Udder.
Yeah, so we didn't do that this past year. Because I did. We just didn't have the space to do it. But I think we're going to do Elsie's Other this year. So normally, like over winter, we'll do like coffee milk stout.
Yep.
Elsie's Other Udder and the huge kahuna. And this year we'll probably do Elsie's Other Udder maybe instead of the huge kahuna.
Huge kahuna is good. Yep.
Huge kahuna is still great.
Coconut one.
What's that?
That's a coconut one, correct?
Yeah, it's an imperial coconut brown ale with cacao, and then Elsie's Other Udder is really just an imperial version of Elsie with cacao. So it's kind of like a chocolate milk stout. But I think we'll definitely do that one this year.
How's everyone finding the pairing of the whiskey and the beer together? Or John, in your case, the depth charge?
It's a great combo. This Kregaliki is the PX octave finish. So Pedro Jimenez, the sweetest style of sherry, and the beer's actually really helping to bring out some of the sweet notes we're finding in the whiskey. I think Travis said had a really good comment there about how it was doing that. So he said, what did he say? Something in icing sugar. Jarvis put on a comment about pigs and chorizo. So Kregaliki does have this real meaty note, but over time it starts to develop more into a tropical note. So there are some tropical fruits there too. Treacle tart, burnt toffee are other flavors we can expect from this whiskey. Bit of malty ginger cake. It's a wonderful pairing. It's a whole lot of dessert right here. It's fantastic.
And how much of the not how much of how long was it? You brought up before. How much of time was in the Polacatana?
Oh, so the Manacor was 4 months. This Kregaliki spent 11 months in this PX octave. Now that's actually, that might not sound like a long time, but it's a long time for these small finishing casks. We actually extract all of the color out of that we're going to get from that cask in about 3 months. And 3 months is the shortest finish we'll do for a darkness. But 11 months is actually fairly lengthy. So we can lose quite a lot of volume in ABV if it spends a long time in there. And we don't want the whiskey to become too tannic either, which this has not done. This is drinking wonderfully. This is just 49.6% ABV, so quite approachable. And we ended up with 117 bottles from this single octave, so just one octave for this particular bottling.
That's not very many.
Not very many. That was for global release. And we had a few cases come down to Australia again with this.
I love how we've hidden Warren behind the Bratch Brewing. Oh, no.
Fix it. Yeah. I can't control where it goes, but can I? Let me see. No?
What I love is how Simon made up a word tannicky and nobody even batted an eyelid.
Tannicky? Yeah. Wouldn't get too tannic. Too tannicky.
Oh, too tannic, not too tannicky.
It's a little bit proteinaceous.
I confused it with
That's a beauty.
Yeah, that's a good word. All right. Well, then, I think, has anybody got room in their glass for the next beer? I almost do. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Batch, Andrew?
Yeah. So do you just want me to, like, just anything?
Read the room, no? Go for it. So basically, I'll try and give you a quick version. So I'll turn the logo off so we can see your beautiful face.
Batch has been around for 11 years. I started it 11 years ago with another guy named Chris, and he's kind of since left the business. He left the business about 5 or 6 years ago. He was involved for a little while, but he went back to America, and now it's just me running it. We started it kind of as this idea, just I don't know, like it was mixed between a brew pub. We just knew we wanted to do new and different beers all the time, and we met playing that All American Sport lacrosse down in Sydney, and started kind of connecting over what we wanted to see. And a kind of beer company I was working for, Lion at the time, and he was in banking, but a home brewer. And we kind of fell in love with the idea of kind of Little Creatures Pale Ale and Sierra Nevada, like a mix between that. So we just kind of said, like, let's just start brewing, an American Pale Ale. So we started with that, and that was our first beer that we ever did. It was a very simple beer, and from there we at my house in my backyard, we started brewing with the intention of starting a brewery. But we basically just wanted to find out whether we could work together or not, and we realized we could. And also brew good beer. So we really quickly kind of just moved into getting a place in Merrickville and opened up in 2013. And American Pale Ale, as I said, was the first beer that we had, with the idea and the ethos that we're batch. Our name is batch, and we want. And in theory, every time you brew a batch of beer, you're brewing it batch by batch. It's that's true with everybody that's brewing. So we're kind of like, okay, that fits us, but at the same time, we want to do new and different stuff. So we really have kind of lived that ethos for the past 11 years. I haven't done the numbers lately, but I dare say at one point we did numbers, and we were releasing one new beer every 5 days. I think over the past year, because we really kind of honed in, and we're really my part of the business is really focusing on kind of the brew pub style at our brewery in Merrickville. We have a small brewery in Petersham. We just brew there at the moment, and a bar at Darling Square in the city, and kind of doing new and different stuff all the time to keep the taps full. The other side of the business is what Dane is involved in. We still do some wholesale, but we're really kind of only doing mostly core range stuff at the moment in the wholesale space. But for us to live and breathe doing new batches all the time is what we do. That's what gets us excited. But having said that, I kind of got off track. We're probably doing like a new beer like once every 3 days or something like that. So we're really kind of like just churning out beers at the moment, having a lot of fun, and this is what you're experiencing with these, kind of getting to do some stuff that was really only available online at the tasting room. So it's good that you guys get to experience it, because these are really small quantity beers.
So this one was available in the tasting room only.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
cool.
sorry. LC the Milk Stout is available everywhere.
It's completely available.
But Half Baked is only in the tasting room, and McBatch is also only in the tasting room and online.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So let's get them in the store.
Yeah. We could talk about it, but it's one of those things. We're doing we've kind of scaled back. Like some of these things, we only can like 20 cases of it or something like that.
Yeah,
So it's like these super small volumes of stuff we're doing. But yeah, the past 11 years has been pretty crazy. I mean, as you know, right now, the beer industry is kind of going up and down. So we've had periods where we've expanded, and periods where we've contracted. So right now we're kind of just in that little bit of a consolidation phase, and really making sure that we live and breathe kind of what batch our ethos, and that's just doing different beers and having fun. So, yeah. Sorry, that's sort of the short version, I guess. But ask me any questions you want.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for Andrew on that? I think it's a few people on the stream, and definitely on with the samples who hadn't tried batch before, which is really cool. So before you got to run, mate, unless you're a couple of beers and whiskeys deep that you might stick in now.
I can do LC, and then I gotta shoot after that. But yeah.
Beautiful.
I think LC's next, right? Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So if everyone's ready to,
I've gone ahead and poured mine. I have to admit, I had several glasses, so I didn't have to finish all the beers all at once. Doesn't mean I'm not going to.
Oh, and I did say this one, in all seriousness, you can shake before you pour.
John, shake it up.
Please,
Look, it's funny.
please feature John.
Let's
No, come on. I can't open this one because you say this one's available all the time. But when I was in Sydney last, my partner and I made a special trip to your tap room to try everything. We did try everything, except this one wasn't available at the time. The keg was empty, and there was not another one there ready to go. So I actually can't open this one because she is absolutely going to throttle me if I open this without her having a chance to try it.
Well, we know who's owned in that house.
Jarvis, I'll send you another one. Just shake it and open it on the stream.
No, look, like I said, fool me once. I feel like this is just one big stitch up now. I'm not going to shake any more beers ever in my life.
But this is so this one you don't have to open it. That's fine. But this one is one of those beers that the interesting thing about LC, and I've worked really hard on trying to get this right. I still, when I buy cans of Guinness, I still get really jealous of how well that cascades. But I reckon we're one of the closest cascade, like getting that cascade right to Guinness. Even though theirs is just way, 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 way better, but the widget helps with all that. But it's basically nitrogenating the beer is really, really hard, and that's what this beer is. So it's got like a really smooth, creamy aspect to it, and that's the nitrogen, but the milk also obviously helps with that and kind of dials back the bitterness from the roasted malts. But when you getting the nitrogen out is really hard. So you can shake it, or you just do the hard pour, and that agitates the nitrogen and starts getting the bubbles out. So you get that cascade. So every once in a while, we'll get people that will say, "Oh, it's flat," and they've kind of done the normal pour, or they're just kind of trying to gently pour it into the glass. And the fact of the matter is, it's not the best way to. If you do know someone that does that, then you just get them to kind of hit the glass without shattering it, but hit the glass against the table, and that kind of gets the nitrogen to kind of come out of solution, and then you get those nice kind of bubbles coming up.
Also, if it's a bit too cold, mate, it also comes across a little bit too flat, as you would know. But yeah. But I'll just jump in real quick, Andrew. This is super exciting. This pairing because it's not all about the whiskey, but right now it's all about the whiskey. This is a Ben Renner 17-year-old, our single octave release, which is live now, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
If it's not, then someone needs to really fire me or something. I'll just do a little check.
I did jump online and check. It is live. It is available now. $139.99. Barrel and batch.
My job is safe.
I did check it right before the stream. It went live. So from what we're trying at the moment, I believe this is the only one that's live right now. But this is special whiskey. They're all live.
There's just quickly, Simon. I'll get you maybe to run through them because it's all on email anyway. But there's a good lineup of Darkness bottles available right now. So they you've got the ones we're running through tonight, which is the Mennickmore Palo Cortado. You've got obviously our featured release, an 11-year-old Craigellachie, which we've tried, a 20-year-old Highland peated single malt next, a 19-year-old Ardmore, and a 13-year-old Altmore. So some pretty cool drams. But I'm really excited, one, for this pairing, this whiskey, and everyone's opinion on it, because I love it. And I'm done. Someone else can talk.
Okay.
That tastes fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this whiskey has been a couple of years in the making, Ray. I think we first started chatting about it 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
We tried a previous octave, a 14-year-old PX. And we really wanted to, after tasting that, you said, we need to have one. Sam said, yeah, we'll put one away. And we eventually managed to actually get the sample across to you and bottle something, a couple of years later. So this is a 17-year-old Pedro Jimenez cast finish. So it's a single PX octave. And from Ben Renner's distillery, which is quite a singular Speyside distillery. Again, it's one of these distilleries that's very rarely seen bottled as a single malt outside of Indies, independent bottlers, which is a shame because it's bloody brilliant. It is a worm tub distillery, slightly different from Craigellachie. Craigellachie kind of sits in the fragrant style worm tub category, where this is Ben Renner's tends to be slightly more meaty. So think Cragganmore, think Mortlock. That's the sort of camp that Ben Renner sits in. But you've got some wonderful sweetness and fruitiness from this PX cask. Because this is kind of a big deal, I describe the color as this is rich mahogany and leather-bound books.
Okay,
Kind of a big
man.
deal. But on the nose, loads of boozy fruit, prune. These are my tasty notes: prunes, brambles, cherries. Before you start to get those leathery and meaty notes, tobacco, coffee, dark chocolate. So all things are pointing to this being a fantastic pairing with a stout.
Imagine I just got like all those flavor notes and everything to do, and all the flavor in this whiskey. I'm just gonna imagine putting that in a trifle for the base.
Oof.
I'd do that. I'd drink that.
Yeah.
Eat that.
I need to wise up and make sure that next time we get 2 packs, not one to share, because
Ooh.
it was
I believe that was my mess up, because I believe I did say that I will make sure that there was not one to share. My apologies.
it's okay. It is a Wednesday.
And well, you've got lots of beer to share.
Which, cheers.
And how many bottles of this one are kicking around, Simon?
So we made 117, but I think we've opened a couple already, haven't we, Ray?
Yeah, we're definitely down a few already.
So I mean, look, I know that I've got a bottle here already. Look, it's not going to last long. It is a quality dram, and only $139.99, which is absolutely banging value. Some great notes there, David, on our internal chat here. Definitely meaty, nice and jammy on the nose. Berries and vibrant fruit, which is absolutely what I had on my notes coming up. So jammy sweetness, dark cherry, black Doris plums, brandy soaked Christmas pud before you start to get a fresh batch of French press coffee, Maduro cigars, toasty spice. And the finish is really long and chewy as well, with more of that sort of dark cherry, bit of chocolate and cinnamon spice coming through at the end. It's it's a fantastic dram.
When I drink these two together, this is really strange. I'm almost getting like honeycomb vibes out of it or something like that. That's like, maybe that's just me.
No, the honeycomb can also, what I find, can spill into maple as well, and I get.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, this is a great example of what you were talking about before, Ray. How depending on what order you do things in, it completely changes your experience of it. So having just had a sip of the Elsie and then going back to this Ben Rennis, now I'm getting so much maple syrup. No, that honeycomb you're talking about, absolutely. It's probably because there's just enough bitterness in the in the Elsie that it's just really ramping up the sweetness of the PX cask finish in that Ben Rennis.
You lovers of the beer right there. How can you not love Elsie though?
Elsie is a cracking beer. It's one I've actually used for whiskey pairings before. It's fantastic. Pairs with a range of whiskey. This will go really well actually with the peated whiskey we try next too. So
how's it going down for you, Corey, the beer?
It's still in the can, mate.
Probably about as well as mine. I'm really disappointed I can't try it right now, but you know.
So Corey, you only drink beer if it's been distilled and then aged for a few years?
Yeah, there's a few things in my house now where someone didn't finish the job, so being beer cans. But yeah, no, it makes me Ray will tell you, I feel incredibly unwell drinking
I've seen it
beer
firsthand.
yeah. So it no thanks. We'll be all right.
Yeah, great.
Nice notes there, Travis.
Nice
Golden
notes,
syrup.
Travis. Yeah, absolutely. Golden syrup, cinnamon, ginger for sure.
All right. So did we do all right? I think that's the question that I'm waiting for. How'd we go?
I think from all the comments, it's suggesting you did it perfectly.
Yeah. Well, I think also, Aaron, you've tried a few whiskeys now and you've enjoyed them, but you've never really asked for more. So that's a win.
Oh, I just assumed that you know where your bread is buttered, Ray, and you would just ply me with whiskies.
That's how it works.
But you can please definitely ply me with that 17-year-old. That was I think that's a standout of all the whiskies that we've tried over the last couple of batch ups. How good.
It's a great fun dram. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, for the nerds out there with Ben Rennis as well, I need to get clarity from Sam on this, but Ben Rennis was one of those distilleries that used to have like a really weird sort of partial triple distillation, which they continued until 2007. So this actually might still be in that old triple partial distillation camp. I need to clarify if that's the case. But if it is, it would have been in the last year of that as well. So for the nerds out there, this could be sort of part of that last of the old school Ben Rennis. But yeah, we've had some cracking Ben Rennis over the years, and this is definitely in that camp.
100%. How'd you go, Davey boy? What do you reckon?
Have you guys, that Ben Rennis is incredible.
Yeah.
And have you guys actually tried any of the OB Ben Rennises? Were there 2 OBs?
So there is the Flora and Fauna, which is standard release, which you can get. The Flora and Fauna, from memory, is 100% sherry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you a testimony as to the quality of the sherry casks that they use. Diageo only use a small portion of sherry casks from a lot of what they do, and most of that ends up in their blends. But the Flora and Fauna Ben Rennis is a great bottling. There's nothing wrong with that. It is a great bottling. I try and pick them up when I can get them as well. Del Ewan and Ben Rennis I love to get from Flora and Fauna when I see them. And then they have done Ben Rennis and special releases. There's one from back in 2016, maybe, which is 21-year-old Ben Rennis, which was incredibly meaty. It was one of the meatiest drams I've ever had. So there are some great OB Ben Rennises. You just don't see a lot of it. You know, the vast majority of Ben Rennis goes into blends. It's been so highly prized by blenders that Diageo have never focused on it as a single malt. Cragganmore and Mortlock, a relatively good proportion of that will go into single malt now. Ben Rennis is still almost exclusively into blends.
Yeah,
which is a shame because it's awesome.
Oh, it is. I love that. I love that distillery.
Yeah, so thick, so waxy. It's just, I think that, Dave, actually, we're on a chat with you last week on a stream with a Ben Rennis, and that was a great Ben Rennis as well. And just that palate, it's always got a good palate. It's always, regardless of flavour or ABV, it's always thick and nice. Thanks for that, Ez.
A 17-year-old at $130 that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, $140, 500 ml, but still, it's that's a great price for a 17-year-old. That sherry element, and I remember a couple of the guys on the chat too, though, they were like, "Oh, bourbon cask Ben Rennis," because obviously that spirit, but that's a fantastic whiskey, and a good pairing, I might say, Andrew. That beer is delicious.
Yeah,
one of my favorite dark beers. I love this one.
Yeah,
Elsie's a great beer. Elsie really is a good beer.
For Queensland, still sells really well in Queensland.
Right.
It's light enough. It's still full flavored, but not too heavy to be an all round. In hot weather, you can smash this, and I get little smoky kind of notes from it, and just love this beer. It's so good.
Oh. Well,
awesome.
We've only got one more, and it's not even 9 o'clock. How do we do that?
We've still got another beer to go with that next one too. So.
Yeah, well, I left this beer to the end, one, because the pairing made sense as well, but two, because 8.6%, I think.
Yeah.
Why does this beer scare me when I look at 8.6 on it? I just go, my lord.
It doesn't scare me at all. It says, come on, man. Let's be friends.
All right.
I'll get it heavy.
Hang on. I'll be back.
I would honestly say, though, that I reckon any of these beers were paired with all of these whiskies quite well.
Yeah.
If you go back to beer number one,
And
that's going to go so well with that Ben Rennis too.
What's the untimed rule of beer that if it gets to 10% plus, it's a barley wine?
Yeah, well, it depends how it's brewed. Depends how it's brewed as well. But
I think it's higher than that. I thought it was like 12.
it's like 13, 12 or 13. But yeah,
Right,
so
12.
and it's obviously called a barley wine, basically because of the ABV, and it's being akin to a wine. So
Correct.
yeah, and you get a good sipper. You get the same thing as a. Well, Andrew, you're still here, and that was my plan. So we're gonna move on to the next pairing, which is McBatch, barrel aged wee heavy. I like to call it wee beastie. So yeah, we got to get also. Batch brewing, obviously support the local small crafts and get in there, and anyone who's got a pack tonight is not disappointed with those beers whatsoever. And then obviously we have our 5 stores in Sydney now, Barrel and Batch. So Barrel and Batch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sean, how has this not happened before? How have you not had a batch up with Barrel and Batch and Batch?
Well, I call it a Barrel and
Batch cube.
Yeah. Batch
So-
squared.
Marriage made in heaven.
Jump in store or support the little guy. However, Andrew has said this is at the brewery only. We're going to have a conversation about that because we're going to need some of this. Just so you know.
Well, unfortunately, this one, well, it was at the brewery, but this one's completely gone now.
Well, that's 2 out of 3 ain't bad, Meatloaf. Yeah, but that's true.
I miss out on all these limited releases up here.
It's pouring beautifully as well. Like great hit on that. That's
How good is that?
So this one, without because I don't have it, but it's obviously it's a wee heavy, it's big malty beer. You're gonna get some really like a lot more notes out of it that are whiskey esque, because when you have these big beers, the malt kind of really does it matures and kind of takes on like really interesting characters. You get like a lot of raisin characters and stuff like that with these kind of like maltier beers. So you're gonna pick, and it's been a little while since I've had it, but like you're gonna pick up some really interesting characters in it. We also aged it in a bourbon barrel, and don't ask me where the barrel was from, but it was a fresh barrel from a known bourbon maker, and I'll remember it after. But we got some really nice characters out of that. It was still wet when we got it, so they imposed their flavors into McBatch. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. I'm gonna try this. I do have to go soon, but I'm gonna try this with LC, because I think these will go really well together as well.
Well, I should probably jump in and talk about what you've got in your whiskey glass then as well. It's going to go. As I said, this will work well with the LC or with the Mac Batch. So this is our Highland single malt 20-year-old Oloroso cask finish. This is a peated Highland, as you'll pretty quickly discover when you nose this. And it's heavily peated. It's a strong, earthy peat coming through on the nose for sure. Charred vegetables, cedar, maritime characters coming through as well. We can't say where this is from. In fact, we actually don't know where this is from. We get quite a lot of Highland peated malt that we do for various bottlings. This one sat in a Oloroso octave, a single octave, for 21 months. So, quite a long finishing in that octave. And it's a fantastic dram, but still plenty of powerful peat coming through. There's a lot of debates when we've done these tastings about what distillery this might be from. Highlands, Speyside, Highlands, Lowlands, those regions can be quite arbitrary. Anything above the Highland line can be called Highland, so you can technically call anything in Speyside or the islands Highland as well. So is this from mainland Scotland, or is it from the islands? That is still a bit of debate, and we'll let you figure out where you think it's from. But a delicious dram here. lots of smoked meats coming through as well, herbaceous notes. Let's give it a crack.
Where do you think it's from, Simon? Or can you not say?
Ooh. It's from somewhere incredibly delicious. That's what I can say. Look, there's been various theories. It's not Ardmore. We know that. We're pretty certain it's not. It doesn't match the character of Ardmore. In this same Darkness release, we have a 19-year-old PX Ardmore. You could try them side by side if you're so willing. Mr. Peter Perfection on the stream here tonight might be keen enough to try two of these Peter Darkness together. But yeah, we don't think it's Ardmore. We did think it could potentially be from Noctu or Anok. But yeah, other people have been throwing around Lachig. We aren't certain. We are not certain. But yeah,
it's good though. Like you said, wherever it's from, it is good. I get like a sort of like green banana bread on the nose, especially, not so much on the palate, especially with the beer. Just like that banana bread. Sweetened though, maple syrup. I don't know why I'm getting maple syrup. What sort of cask is it? Oloroso. Yeah, so again, sort of like a bit of that savoury, toasted note with the sweetness coming through.
Yeah.
And did you say 21 months in the Oloroso cask?
21 months in the Oloroso Octave, 53.3%. We got 120 bottles in this outturn.
Oh, really? That's great.
And we only got a few cases, but down this end of the world.
That's one of those ones when you ask for it, Simon goes, "Oh, sorry, you can't have that many."
That's it. I've got from Sam's official tasting notes. There's one thing that really stood out to me. I thought was pretty cool. I spoke about these, dried smoked meats, cured meats. There's also like a sweet and salty popcorn note to it as well, which I quite like.
Someone's punching a keyboard there.
Yeah. What did I do to him? Bloody hell.
That was me, busted.
That's called a keyboard warrior for sure.
Oh dear.
All right,
That's not shit at all. That whiskey, that's fantastic.
Fantastic tasting it, and thank you, Corey. Yeah.
That's technical explanation has been given.
What about chocolate covered beef jerky? Chocolate covered beef jerky, is that better? Is that more to your palate, Corey? Is that green banana?
That's a good note. That's a good note. There's one man who's
I feel very attacked.
Whom I love to have a beer with, Mr. Mark Teagues. Is he frozen? Or I thought he was asleep. There he is.
He's a man of few words.
I literally thought he'd frozen.
He's not asleep because this isn't a bourbon tasting. This is the real deal.
He talks up on the bourbon, doesn't he? Loves the bourbon. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I like the Noctu theory. I've had a few of their OBs. I think they call them something like the Pete Hart and stuff.
Yep.
They were pretty prevalent in this country about 10 years ago. Like a lot of retailers had them, and now you don't really see them anywhere. So I think it's different enough that it could be something like that. There's something about the beet and how it's layered with the whiskey that's very different to, like Simon says, the typical Highland Ardmores and that we're used to. So yeah, it's an interesting dram.
Yeah,
I'm getting serious Ardmore vibes though.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've bottled an Ardmore as well, David. So you might be a bit biased there, but yeah, we're not sure.
I know about
peated Highlands.
The last tasting we've done, Simon, with Boutique, and a few called it. I don't think it's Ardmore. And I was like, no, I'm really leaning towards it.
Well, Sam Simmons, our head of whiskey, will quite often go, no, doesn't think it's Ardmore. And I was always leaning towards Noctu like you, Mark. And then he's just thrown me a couple of things that have made me doubt its origins. But I mean, I think that the point of it is that it doesn't matter. We've tried a few of these in different formats. It's fantastic whiskey, and that's what's really important. These sherry octaves, we will actually use those not just in darkness releases. We use those as components for some of our other bottlings we do of this peated Highland. So this is basically a single component of one of the whiskies that Sam makes. We'll bottle it a single octave. Most of the peated Highland we bottle at 18 years. This is one that's been given a bit longer, and plenty of time in octave cask, and it's fantastic.
The beautiful thing about darkness, in my opinion, being smaller format octave casks, and there's no offensive tannins in a lot of the darknesses that I've tried so far. Yeah.
I think you mean to say, Dave, that they're not too tannicky.
Right.
Thank you, Jarvis. Yeah. But that is now entered, regular usage in whiskey vernacular because you've reused that. So we can use tannicky. It was coined here first tonight. But that's a key thing we're looking at. Sam's looking at when we're doing the darkness whiskies is to not leave them in there too long. You can do that. We're lucky in Scotland. We've got this cool climate, and so it's a little bit more forgiving. We've seen some of the mistakes that have been made in the Australian industry using 20-litre casks in our incredibly warm climate and what that might result in. So you've got to be careful with small casks. They can very easily turn tannic. The finishing casks, these octaves are fantastic, but they don't need to be in there for years and years.
Sure.
Simon, are they always first fill octaves, or does it vary?
The octaves are always first fill. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all single cask bottlings, correct?
What's that? Sorry.
Always a single cask bottling as well, or are they?
No. So the Manic-More we tried first tonight was 2 octaves.
Okay.
So we'll often marry the octaves together. We are always careful on how we use single cask as well. You have to understand that as a IB, often we buy bulk whiskey of people like Diageo, for instance, and they send it to us in IBC. So for us to claim single cask, we need to be careful about that because we might be getting something that's already been matured in the big IBC, and then disgorge an IBC for it shipped to us. We will re-rack it into quality cask. That's the key thing to do when you're an independent bottler. But we're careful about using the term single cask. We will say single octave for the finishing, but we've broken down a cask, we've broken down an IBC and re-racked it into octaves to put our own stamp on it.
And it won't fit.
Sorry, I just got to interject. I do have to go now, but sorry, I was trying to find a moment. But thank you guys.
Cheers, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Andrew, I was going to bring it up. A big thanks to Andrew for sticking on for so long because
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Those beers were amazing and great pairings. But I was just going to say, Andrew, you can stick or go. Don't feel obliged to stay. But we've got 3 polls, right? We're going to do 3 polls. And if you're watching on Facebook still, please jump in and hit your comments. But we're going to have a favourite whiskey, a favourite beer, and a favourite pairing. That's what we're going to do.
And who doesn't love a poll?
Well, I can't do a poll because Restream is not allowing it. So it's going to be like this, and we'll count it. We'll work around.
Done.
But, anyone on the chat, like I said on Facebook, jump in, type in. Love to see what you got to say. But again, if we could just give a bit of a round of applause to Andrew for your time and also your generosity. Those beers and everything that we've sent out was not on us. Andrew's provided those for this tasting, and that's amazing.
Keep doing what you're doing, Andrew, because these beers are phenomenal, mate.
Thank you very much. I will. Before I do go, I will say, because the only actual pairing I had, so my vote's for the LC pairing with was that Crackalacken? Was that?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was great, and I wish I could try the other ones, but anyway, I really like that, and I reckon LC goes with a lot of.
LC's a winner for a lot of drinks. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks guys. See ya.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, mate.
We're going to slip it off too, guys. I don't need a round of applause. No, really, I don't.
We'll give you one anyway.
No. guys. Fantastic. Enjoy you guys.
Always a pleasure. Always good to see you again, right?
That was really fantastic.
Thank
Enjoy,
you.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Yeah.
All right. So, favorite whiskey. Let's just go around the group. Here we go. So, Manic Moore.
Yeah.
All right.
Lovely.
Wow. Thanks for your vote on the. Craig Gillicky. No Craig Gillickies. Oh, Ben Rennes.
It was good. There's all of these are good, but Ben
Yeah.
Rennes is where I'm leaning.
And
Pretty
the Peter Highland. The Ben Rennes and Peter Highland is really hard for me to choose between.
Yeah.
See, I'd love to vote for that too. That's outstanding. But
Yeah.
Ben Rennes pips it, I reckon.
Amazing.
Yeah,
All
same.
right.
Look, I shared Corey's thought there. Like the Ben Rennes slightly, but I did enjoy the Harlan Peter as well.
Yeah, a 20-year-old Highland
I
Peter.
don't think there was any slouches in the lineup tonight. I'm
No.
keen to try some of the other releases we brought out. You've got the Ardmore 19-year-old we mentioned. You got a little bit of the Altmore as well, didn't you? As well, Oloroso.
Yes, yeah, 13-year-old.
Yes.
And what's the RRP for the 20-year-old Highland Peter?
What are we selling for that one? That's a good question. I don't remember. I will just type it in right now.
No worries. Go for your life.
However, it's delicious. So whatever. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, those two batch limiteds, that was the first time, even though I sell these beers nationally, this is the first time I've tried either of those two beers. So as Andrew said, he just does a lot of very small runs with the limited release stuff, which is really cool.
Yep.
But they don't make it up here to Queensland to me very often, unfortunately. So when I could have a chance to take part in this, I was like, ooh.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. I'm glad
I might actually get to try some of the limiteds.
and some good whiskey.
Mate,
like
the whiskey. Yeah.
You're not going to like the price of 20-year-old Dave.
Tommy,
200.
how much?
$200.
Mate, it's a 20-year-old whiskey, dude.
Yeah,
I know.
it's
How good is
outstanding.
That
that?
is incredible.
Yeah.
Sarcastic motherfucker. We're still recording. I can't swear, right? Yeah.
No, I said that.
Let's go take the line. You're gonna wait.
You can say a gentle swear, like a little.
The pricing is incredible. Now, just let me know the minute you stop the recording, okay?
Yeah, I will. I definitely will because I'm still here drinking the rest. But anyway. All right. So Ben Rennes won. Yes, I'm okay with that. Next.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are some good chats on the good comments on the Facebook chat as well. So people were going for Craig Gallagher on there, which is great to see.
Yep, and we're going to do the giveaways tonight as well. So we might give away a bottle of the Ben Rennes and a $50 voucher. Dane, you can call the $50 voucher, and Simon, you can call the Ben Rennes.
Okay.
But however, and just get involved. The best comments or however you want to choose it wins. But favorite beer, we've got the peanut butter. I really like that.
Yeah,
I really enjoy the peanut
It's
butter.
so hard to choose because they're so different.
I think
I didn't get to try the milk stout though, so that one's off the table for me.
Elsie the milk.
yeah,
Milk stout.
the peanut butter for me.
Yep.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
the wee beastie that I've now called it.
Which the wee beastie, which is our Scotch ale, I think.
No,
Anyway,
it's
that's
not
right.
Scotch ale, but it pretty much is made like a Scotch ale.
As long as Ardbeg doesn't steal you, right?
The wee heavy is the style in Scotland. Wee heavy. But the Mac Batch was awesome. But for me, that Elsie is probably just the best all-round whiskey pairing.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it's
solid.
such a great beer. Yeah,
Yeah, the
All right.
Mac Batch and the half-baked cracking beers, and those are like a special occasion thing. But that Elsie, that's an everyday smashable stout and cracking with any whiskey, I reckon.
yeah. It's my winner too, but because I have that all the time, and this was a new one for me, I'm gonna vote for this one. No.
You're like, I haven't tried it yet, but no,
I'm excited.
it was a really good start too when you go through the others. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the wee heavy, it's got like almost like a cough syrupy texture to it. It's really thick. I love it.
Well, it's all right to be wrong, Ray. It's it's okay.
I know, and most times you are, but I'm not. So thanks for that.
I'm going to beat you to the next one, though. And even though I love the wee heavy, I think the best pairing was the peanut butter and the cracker-lackin. No, what was it? Was it the
cracker-lackin?
Yeah, that was a great pairing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I thought that just really, really paired well.
Okay, so the pairing, because you jumped ahead. But anyway,
you're not going to be able to go through each pairing, though. You're going to have to ask people.
No, I can go through it. The pairing with the peanut butter, which was a Kregeliki.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah, that's not a vote. yeah. The pairing with the Elsie Milk Stout and the Ben Rennes.
Have to go with that.
Mm-hmm. And the pairing with the wee heavy and the Highland. That was where I was. It was
Me too.
Hard to not drink that again.
That was incredible.
Mm.
But Ray, you're just so excited that
Yeah,
the wee
wheat
heavy. Like cough syrup.
No, that's not a bad thing. It's just
It is approaching like a barley wine, though. It's kind of like
100%.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
and I absolutely love a Scotch ale and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Hey Ray, what was the ABV of the Big Ben?
The big ball Ben,
Big Bowl Ben, yeah.
10.5.
Yeah, that's a cracking beer.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And as it sits though, like have you got some left?
Yeah, about 3 cans.
Got a couple of cans. Reg, I might go get one now.
Yeah.
Well, for the afters, you know.
Nice.
And I only finished my last one like 2 weeks ago.
The big bowl Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to sort you out, won't we?
Reminds me of a Johnny Cash song called Big Ben. So yeah, I don't know why I said that, but yeah.
All right. So Simon, you are tasked with choosing somebody for a Ben Rennes bottle.
Look, there's been some great comments tonight on the Facebook chat. It was great to see Ree on the chat as well. Glad that you were able to watch what we're up to.
I believe Lee and Paul, if you're still online, are lurking at home on Facebook.
Yeah. But I have to say, MVP tonight on the chat, Travis, mate.
Yeah.
He went a bit rogue on some of the pairings, I have to say. He started putting other pairings together, but yeah, there's some great comments from Travis tonight. So, Boulder Ben Rennes coming out to you. Hope you enjoy that. Yeah.
Congratulations, Travis.
The Manickmore and the Wee Heavy together as well.
Congratulations, mate.
Caramel fudge, cocoa powder, mint leaf jelly lollies. Love that comment.
Beautiful.
Enjoy, Travis.
We need to actually get Travis on here a little bit more often to save his fingers. He's always typing incredible comments about every single one that we've
I
done.
don't know how we had time to pick up a glass, to be perfectly honest, but
just yeah, great fella.
All right.
Lovely man.
Dane, as part of the beer collective, you get to choose the beer man.
Well,
you can't choose yourself as well because
yeah.
I want a 4-pack of the peanut butter, please.
I was like, yeah, he's the choice. But yeah, Rihanna, I think is been active on there and on point with chiming in with her comments. So
you realize she's a beer sommelier. She's a cicerone.
Yeah, right. No, I don't. But
yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone want to know before we turn off the stream what we're doing next month?
Yeah.
Okay. And end stream. Bye. No. No. So next month, I believe the beer will be Hawkers and some barrel aged stuff there as well, which is really cool. And we're going to do a bourbon because I haven't tried many bourbons. So
no, not at all.
I figured we'd go into bourbon.
So what bourbons? Are you gonna tell us exactly what you got?
It's a single barrel.
Okay.
And
that doesn't really narrow it down with you. Just saying.
That's true. It's going to be an E.H. Taylor single barrel.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
Looking forward to this one.
So again, we need to the amount of messages, Facebook messages, emails, everything to do with when we put these packs out. As you can see, they're very good packs, and they're not a cost to you. We send them out to you. Just want you to join in and enjoy it. It's hard to make sure everyone's included. So apologies if you haven't been included yet. There is a core group that has been with these tastings from the start, and that will remain. But we will try and share love as much as we can. But yeah, on the EH Taylor tasting, the Hawkers beers, I can't tell you what they are, but they are going to be pretty great. We are going to be doing small batch EH Taylor rye and our single barrel pick. So,
and Ray, you're going to open that to a bit of wholesaling too?
Davey boy, you will always get something.
You're a good man.
Yes, I am.
Is that because no, I'll talk when the stream's off. Done.
It's because you're charming.
Thank you, brother.
He just wants to be able to swear, let's be honest.
All right, so before we go, and Mark, you've been extremely quiet. I'm not sure I'm okay with it. I will say this, though. You do talk more when we have bourbon, which is funny.
I know. Strangely.
But anyway, a big thank you to Simon and your time and everything you helped me do with Adam Brand's portfolio, be it Worm Tub, Darkness, that boutique whiskey. You know, you put it in, mate. I appreciate it. And they're not all here. Dane is still here for Batch Brewing, jumping on our first one. How good was a Boilermaker?
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Mm-hmm. And that's all.
What do you think, Corey?
I'm sure the beers were great, mate. Someone will tell me. I'm sure they were great.
Anyway, thank you, Ray. Ray, you've done amazing work as usual. Really appreciate it. Like everyone
Thank
down
you,
there should
Ray.
appreciate it. I think little pity clap for Ray. Let's make it happen.
Thank you, else. All right, we're going to end the stream, and then we will. I believe these 8 screens that are still live will be live for a little while. But thank you all at home for tuning in, and it's been fantastic. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Good night.